Finishing up our preamble to our John Hughes reviews, and in honor of the holiday season, we take a look at National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Released in 1989, Christmas Vacation is widely considered to be not only a comedy classic, but a holiday classic as well. The third film featuring the Griswolds and their patriarch Clark. This film is different from the two previous installments in that it takes the family off the road and sets the story in the Chicago suburbs. We begin the story of the Griswolds singing Christmas carols as they drive to find their Christmas tree. Clark is already exhibiting some disturbing holiday hysteria by lecturing the children on why they have to drive out to the middle of nowhere to pick out a tree. Meanwhile, Clark gets tailgated by some hillbillies driving behind them and through a series of retaliations sends the family car careening into a field, but not before getting it stuck under a truck. This opening scene is the perfect introduction to Clark Griswold and his family. Throughout the film series, Clark, played brilliantly by Chevy Chase, remains the American Ahab, constantly in search of the perfect family vacation at the cost of his own sanity and that of his family's. Wow, I never thought of the character like that before, but it's true. The main crux of the film shows Clark trying extra hard to give his family the perfect Christmas, but true to his character, he goes overboard. Clark is obsessed with having a fun, old-fashioned family Christmas and finds his ever-inflating expectations foiled by circumstance, his own foibles, and the family itself. Listen, instead of taking time to analyze the moments of this entire film because I just simply can't do it justice, let's look at a quick list of the unfortunate events that comprise the Griswold family Christmas. Car accident. Digging a tree out of ground with bare hands because he forgot the saw. Freak out involving Christmas lights. Clark gets stuck in the attic. Cousin Eddie empties chemical toilet into storm sewer. This pays off later. Using cooking lubricant, Clark sends himself rocketing down a hill at warp speed on a sled into a Walmart parking lot. Turkey dinner overcooked. Cat gets electrocuted by chewing on Christmas lights. Squirrel in tree chases family around the house. Dog destroys house chasing said squirrel. Uncle Lewis burns down Christmas tree. Clark replaces said tree with one he cuts down from neighbor's yard. Clark's boss screws him out of Christmas bonus. Eddie kidnaps Clark's boss. SWAT team destroys Griswold house looking for Clark's boss. Uncle Lewis ignites sewer gas mentioned before with a match blowing the family sky high. The fact of the matter is, this film really is nothing more than an endless string of jokes. However, the plot of the film is strong, and the jokes so well executed and character-driven that what may have been a patchwork turns into a comedic masterpiece. In fact, it is the comedy in this film that demands the most analysis. There isn't a single character in this film that doesn't have a clear definition and moment. Chase's Clark Griswold is the hub of the film, and most of the comedy is either generated or deflected from him. You would be hard-pressed to find someone who does physical comedy like Chevy Chase, and the addition of great characters like Uncle Lewis, played by William Hickey, and Aunt Bethany add different styles of comedy to the film. It is also interesting that Clark's goofy demeanor changes depending on who he shares a scene with. However, it never seems out of character. Clark becomes a straight man in scenes with Cousin Eddie, played by a scene-stealing Randy Quaid. In these scenes, both performers are equally hysterical, but you could not have the kind of humor with each of them separately. They need each other in order for the humor to play. There are quiet moments as well. Few though they are, these scenes help us catch our breath for the next go-round of comedy. Clark has a touching scene with Ruby Sue, Eddie's daughter, in which she explains that she doesn't believe in Santa Claus. He also has a touching and frank scene with his father in which his dad explains that he screwed up Christmas, and that's okay. It happens. As a holiday film, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation seems incidental. It is the context for humorous family interaction and holiday stress, but that's where the film achieves its highest goal. When we look at this film, we laugh, but we laugh because we relate, because we see ourselves. I could spend an hour describing this film and analyzing it in more detail, but that would be like explaining a grand joke. It loses its flavor if you have to explain it. A great many of you have seen this film, and if you haven't, you probably live a black-hearted and humorless existence. It's brilliant. If you haven't seen it, pick it up, and if you have, for Pete's sake, watch it again. I realize that I have perhaps not gone as in-depth with regard to the history of the film and its relations to cinema itself. However, I will remedy this in my future review of National Lampoon's Vacation and go into the history of the characters and their relationship to Hughes and his Shermer stories. Take care, Merry Christmas, and Happy Holidays.